Good morning. Good morning. Who knows who's out there? Who's still with me? But if you are, welcome back. I've started a new job now that I'm remote. I'm back to trading in the mornings. Thanks, Chief. Let's get back at it. Let's have a great week. I agree. Lots to talk about today. Did a lot of charting over the weekend. I always knew it was kind of going on, but actually, Rosie C in the chart here kept me up to date every day and the little nuances. It's my scoop for the week every day. But now I'm back in the mix. So, without further ado, let's get into this. My name's Steven Gonzalez. Welcome to my channel. I took a brief hiatus, but I'm back. Use volume profile, market profile to plan out the week, plan out the day. Use supply and demand. Use gamma levels. You name it. Confluence is the name of the game here, and hopefully you guys can learn something. How I read the market, right? And of course, get some more subscribers back. Subscribe, set an alert. That'd be awesome, right? Also, sending me a like will always help me out. And of course, you could always follow me on Twitter. That's Gonzo719. And you could always follow me on Instagram, Gonzo719 Jersey. We will plan to do more reels in the future. And yeah, so welcome, welcome. You're probably people who, I know Chief because she's a friend of mine. She's here. But hopefully some of the crew comes back that always watched me. They probably are unaware that I'm back, but that's okay. If you see it later, that's fine. And we're going to get right into this. Okay, we're going to get right into the futures watch list. And let's see what we have here. Okay. All right. Let's go start at the top. The VIX. The VIX is up 5.57%. Okay, we got a big week of news coming up. FOMC. It's quad witching. All right, this week. So Friday we have index futures and stock options expiring. Okay, and we'll go down the line. We got Nasdaq's up 0.43, ES is up 0.23, Russell's up 0.22, the Dow is up 0.11. 30-year bonds being bought slightly, but basically flat. Gold's hanging out. That is very bullish what gold's doing. Probably hanging out for the FOMC. 10-year yield 820 will update that. The dollar is basically flat. Silver is down 0.23. Bitcoin, crypto's been taking a beating a little bit with the Binance, down 1.87. Crude's down 2.24%. Crude is under $70 a barrel. Ether is down almost 5%. Okay, let's move into the stocks I like to watch that are important, that I usually day trade. Okay, so let's move into those. Here we go. Leader, AMD, up 2.94%. They have what do they have here? They have an event tomorrow. AMD has an event tomorrow. Maybe people getting ahead of that event. They're probably going to mention AI a million times. So they did have a little bit of a pullback. So people are probably trying to get ahead of that. Okay. Tesla's been a beast as of late. All right, we're looking at up 1.21% pre-market. Nvidia up 0.9. Okay. Amazon. All right, let's talk about Tesla. Got an upgrade. All right. AMD's got the price target raised. Amazon's price been raised from 139 to 154. Hence why these companies are getting some love in the morning. Okay. What else here? Why does that say that? Oh yeah. Okay, let's continue on here. Okay. Is there a lagger? Yes, there is. Coin's down 1.67%. that is all the crypto issues that's going on. Now, Netflix has gotten a downgrade. I did see that they're cracking down on sharing of passwords, which is, they got a downgrade, but that has shown a grow in users because they can't share passwords. Keep an eye on that. All right, moving on. Let's move on, okay? Qualcomm. When that was at 102, I was foaming at the mouth a little bit to buy it, but I did not pull the trigger because I started that new job. And yeah, regretting that a little bit, but you're never going to win them all. Walmart has gotten an upgrade today. All right, that's doing pretty good. All right, let's go down to laggards. Chevron, no energy's getting beat up, crude's getting beat up, so Chevron and Exxon down respectively and down 0.83. Okay, moving on. Sectors. Okay, semiconductors getting the most love, no surprise here. AMD, Nvidia. Technology also encompasses AMD and Nvidia, so that's up 0.57. We'll talk about XLK a little bit later. Okay, XLY is Tesla, Amazon. Okay, up 0.47. Is there a laggard? Well, energy is probably going to be the laggard, right? Utilities is pretty much flat. Energy is down 0.85, right? That is beaten down this year, right? Notice how market does these cyclical things. The energy sector was the booming sector last year. Well, now it's the lagging sector, right? You see these rotations happen in the markets, right? Communications got hammered last year. Same with tech, right? And they've been moving up this year. So this is how the flows, the money inflows and the outflows happen, right? All right. So now that we discussed that, we can get into some news that's been going on. Let's look at this here. We'll look at the calendar. We'll look at some news. All right, let's look at just some news I was looking at this morning. Broadcom set to win EU nod for VMware deal. That's pretty big. Credit Suisse is now being taken over almost fully by UBS. There was a couple of things that I wanted to talk about here. NEO. NEO has cut prices and they've got downgraded as well. So NEO's kind of getting hurt this morning. Chinese electric vehicle maker said it would lower prices for all its models and end free battery swapping services to new buyers. So that's showing a little weakness in NEO. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, see Carnival Corp got an upgrade, or their target price was raised. That's about it for that. We can look at some news here. Or look at our economic calendar for this week. Everybody knows this is a big week, right? So tomorrow we have CPI. Okay, month over month consensus is 0.2. Okay, previous was 0.4. Year over year consensus 4.1. Previous was 4.9. The core consensus 5.3. Previous was 5.5. Okay, so they're looking for a downtick, basically. And then what do we have? We have FOMC on Wednesday, 2 p.m., right? Consensus is a pause. Consensus is a pause. All right. And then you follow that with the press conference, which usually moves the market more. And then we have Philly Fed, retail sales, jobless claims. And then looks like we had Fed Bullard and Fed Waller speaking on Friday. All right, Fed Clarita has been speaking this morning. And I wouldn't say she's saying the best things about our economy and about the current situation of the market. I'll get into that in a second. I'll highlight that in a second. And real quick, let's go to the Fed Watch tool. and just see where we're at with the Fed Fund futures. Whenever that decides to load for me. I don't know why it's not loading. That's weird. That was just, I just saw that before. We'll get back to it. But that was at about, I think it was, last time I checked, it was at a 75% chance of a pause. This site's kind of frozen for some reason, but that's fine. You can go back here. Let's look at some other news. Oh, yeah, it looks like Goldman Sachs is looking at the real estate market to not do well in China. Let's see if anything else here. Now, Fed Clarita. Yes, this is like, let's highlight some of Clarita's hook. It's an ex-Fed vice chair. Now, she's made a couple of comments here. So, she said it may be more complicated to get inflation near 2% than in the past 15 years because of supply shocks. She also said central banks showing signs of quantitative easing fatigue. We're going to see less policy support during downturns in the future. That's pretty interesting, right? That means that we're not going to go into full-blown QE if the market gets in trouble again. Because you know what that happens? That causes inflation. Okay. That thing is still loading. Oh, there we go. It's back. It's back. Let's get that in there. Picture here. Okay. Let's get that in the picture. So what are we looking at here? 74.8% expecting a pause. Only a 25% chance of a quarter point basis rate hike. So probably a pause. Okay. Probably a pause. Let's see here. This is the 5-year break-even inflation rate. Okay. Bat 1,000 here with that stuff. All right. Let's see if there's anything else here to note. Not really. We got just a lot of news coming. All right. Now we can get right into the daily charts. I'll hit you with the watch list real quick. Let's get into the daily charts. Very interesting daily charts too. Okay. Let's move over here to the daily charts. Okay. All right, let's start off with our SPY. Okay. All right. So we've been in balance. All right. We'll zoom in here. Now, most trader price of the year is here, right? So we kind of like left that in its wake, which no surprise there. Okay. So let's just get zoomed in here. What's been happening? Now, we had a doji candle. All right. Now, you had this balance. And balance rules, if you've been watching me, okay, this is balance rules. So this first move out is always known as a test, because it's a test, because it's like tipping the toe in the water of, do we get continuation or not? Now look what happened. We broke out, selling ensued. Okay, we actually went down here, but we kind of caught ourselves on this like 429 call 430 level. Okay, this is like the resistance we're looking at, 430, 426 support. Now, imbalance rules. If we were to break this low today, we would probably most likely hit 426. Okay. Now, imbalance rules. This would be a look above and fail. So anytime you got to look above and you fail, you go back into range, you go to the other side. And if you get continuation, a little trick. This is a little trick. Okay. What you do is you usually go the size of the balance lower. So take the other side of this balance here, and we would be looking at going around 422. I'm not calling for this. I'm just telling you how balance rules work. Okay. So if we start to go into the middle of this range, we're going to probably hit 426. If we get weaker, we'll probably hit 422. Remember I said this. Okay. That's balance rules. So where are we at now? We are at 430.85. We're right here. We're in the midpoint of the range of Friday. Okay. Midpoint of the range. 9 EMA daily, 8 EMA daily, right here at that 426 level, right? You got all the moving averages fanned out. Let's look at the weeklies. Okay, weeklies, we got one time framing weeklies. Okay, a 10-week EMA being supportive. Remember I talk about that, right? That's a good barometer to show a strength. Look at that. We have not closed under that 10-week EMA. Okay, very important. But notice where we came. See this level here? A wick here and a wick here. This is resistance. That's why we've been getting resistance, right? If you go to the monthlies, you can see it right here. A wick here in a month, a wick here in a month. That's why we got resistance. That's the reason. Okay? That is the reason. All right, moving on. Let's go to the Qs. So you got my balance rules there, right? Let's look at those Qs. Woof. Boy, they've been strong. Boy, they've been strong. So you can see here, there's not a lot of consolidation here. It's consolidation here. You can see all the volume, but then poof. And what happened here? That little pullback that got bought up and drove higher, right? But now we have a balance area here in the Qs. Let's examine it, right? Let's examine this. And you got the AEMA being supportive here, right? But we have this key resistance area, 357. 357, okay? Key resistance area. How many times? 1, 2, 3. Got a doji. Okay. We got support here around 348. I would say an ultimate support here, 346.85. Now, Nasdaq's showing a little strength. Okay, a little strength. All right, so this is what we really got to look at: 357, 346. Okay. Now, these longs. Okay, so you took out these longs here, right? These three candles. Boom, big engulfing candle, right? But then what happened? Those shorts got hurt. Boop. Right? And then you gapped up, moved up, so then you killed all these shorts in this candle. Right? So it's been a wacky market. And now you had a doji. And now what does that set up? Because this week you have huge news coming, CPI and FOMC. Okay, so I expect this to be the playground for the next day. Okay. Let's look at the weeklies. Okay, so you can see 2 weeks in a row we're in the same range. That sums it up. Look at the weeklies. Got the highs 357, lows 346.85. Right? That's all you got to look at. Why? Right? We got resistance here, right? That's probably a weekly resistance here. This is from the past, by the way. That resistance. So let's look at that. Why are we getting resistance here? That was support here, right? What am I on, monthlies or weeklies? All right. Yeah, that was support in the past. Okay. Now, ultimately, I don't know. You got a triple top here. Okay, 369. If you get some strength, boy, that would probably be the next destination in the Qs. Okay. Now, if you look at the volume profile, look at how much volume in the last 30 days. is at 354. That is just a lot of volume. You see how much volume is there at that price? So a big move's coming. Okay, explosive moves coming. And you'll see that in the market profile. Okay, let's move on. Dow. Okay, now the Dow, there's been a change a little bit. Okay, when we're talking about this market, you hear about people talking about the breadth, right? Only 7 or 8 stocks are moving this market. The rest of the market is flat. Something like 492 stocks, I think, are only up 0.18%. So the overall market hasn't been strong, but the big stocks have, right? AI is driving stuff. So the Dow was here, right? While the NASDAQ was, and look, it pulled, hit the 200-day moving average and ripped right back up. Where do we go? Most traded price of the last year, right? So let's zoom in here. All right. So the Dow, you can see this playground, right? So what are we looking at? So the Dow pulled back. This probably got shorts, right? Happy. And then they got their face ripped off, right? Held the 200. Big volume. Notice that volume? Big volume push. Boom. Hit resistance here. Pulled back to the 50. And then you got 3 days of buying. So this is the breadth that I'm talking about. This is very important. Can the Dow catch up? Right? This is very concentrated with healthcare. Okay? Goldman Sachs, United Healthcare. That's what drives the Dow. Okay? Home Depot. So it's kind of made a little bit of a push for the overall market that could make the overall breadth of the market stronger. I don't know if we go higher, but if these start to get into play, then I'm not saying a bull market, but it could make the market move a little more higher, okay? Because you didn't have these guys helping out the NASDAQ at all. Well, they don't help out the NASDAQ, but I think you know what I mean. Let's look at the weeklies, okay? We have huge resistance at 340 and then 343. So you have this consolidation here, right? It's a big level, 340. 343 is a big level as well, okay? Support here at 326. But remember, we're at around the most traded price. You could see even just how much congestion's here, okay? So you can see the price action in the Dow all the way down here and just ripped, poof, right? So let's move on. Let's move on, okay? Let's move on to that Russell. That Russell was the weakest, and the Russell did something. The Russell did something, right? So look at that. Most traded price of the Russell for the last year was 173. Look at all this consolidation. That just meant a big move was going to happen. And well, we got it. Look at that volume. 2 days in a row. So let's zoom in on this, okay? 2 big volume days here. Huge, okay? And you were down here below every moving average. Now you're above every moving average in a couple of days. That is monster move, okay? What else do I see? Where did we come? Where did we come here? Look at this fib that I never touched, and it went here, right? It could not break the 38.2 Fibonacci, and then it did, right? And then where did we go? The last line of defense, the 61.8, 187. That's where it got resistance. That's where it got resistance. That fib, we kind of sliced through the 50, but this is the last line, 61.8, okay? So that's where we are. Right here. Okay, big candle there. Oof. Right? So the key for me right now is what can we do at 184? And what could we do at 187? Do we move to 190? So we really have to see, can you pull back here to 181? Have to see, right? Let's look at the weeklies. You could just see that this was just consolidating, right? And boom, right? Where are we at now? 185. Oh, like here, around here. Okay. I would definitely say we get some strength. We can see 190. That's a big resistance level. Okay. And look at the monthlies. You kind of took out the last 2 months here. Okay. A little volume profile there. You can just see the big volume here, and then you poof, break out of that. All right. Whenever you got that big volume, you're going to see that. Okay. All right. You know what's next? We know what's next. It's that triple-headed monster. Okay. We got to talk about it. Let's go to the 10-year yield. Okay. All right. Let's see what yields have been given to us lately. So we had the drive up in yields, push down, yields went back up, and now we're in this, what we got here, 3.8 to 3.6 level, right? We really got to keep an eye on the bonds. So this was a pretty big move, right? Rising yields, but the market hasn't really moved lower, right? So to keep an eye on that. VIX. VIX is at like lows. What did that hit? 13.5. Wow. Now we got a rise in the VIX. That's no surprise because what information's coming out, right? It's going to cause some volatility in the market. CPI and FOMC and the dollar. That dollar, that doji land. Oh God, this is crazy. Still boggles my mind. This craziness with the dollar. So the dollar topped out at 104, kind of pulled back. You kind of got support here now, 103.29. We're waiting on FOMC for a lot of this stuff. Okay. So it's really important what the dollar is going to do. Okay. The higher the dollar usually is not good for commodities and for equities. Okay. Lower is good. All right. Let's move on. Let's go into my favorite thing, the volume profile and market profile. I'll just hit you with the watch list real quick. All right. Go right into it. We're going to go right into it. Get my marker. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it coming back to me. I thought I'd be more rusty. But I'm feeling it. It's like getting on a bike. Okay. Let's go into the futures. Now, I did notice after I did some levels today that we have quad witching coming, right? So this futures contract is going to roll over. Now, I usually wait for the volume to be more in this contract than the contract before. That has happened. However, this is going to be strictly for structure. If you trade futures, I most likely would have rolled over, but for structure, it's not going to change the structure of the market. Okay, so I'm probably going to roll over tomorrow to the new contract. Okay, so but this still structure holds true. All right, now we're going to go over all the stuff we normally go over. Okay, so very important things here. We have a balanced profile over the last week. Okay, that's no surprise. That is no surprise, right? And we have big time balance. Okay, that's not a surprise either. 42.90 is the most traded price of the month and the week. So whenever they're together, you get a big move. Okay, The most trades have happened in that area. So that's why this level 42.90 is so important. That's why you got that move up, right? But it kind of came back down. Now, like I said, balance rules. Okay? So now we have balance. We see it in the profile. That's no surprise, right? We made a move higher, but can we hold it? Right? Now, we're going to look at where we're at, right? So we got to look at where we're at compared to Friday. Okay, so here's Friday's highs, Friday's lows. Now you have a poor low here. Now, this is known as a poor low, right here. Now, I don't know why that's not showing me. Oh yeah, here it is. So I just want to show you this plugin I have tells me poor low, even though I know it. I didn't even have to look at that. But a poor low is basically shorts get trapped at bad location here. Okay, and that's two TPOs that don't get excess, because normally every auction, every market profile ends in excess. So see how like there's only one TPO here. See how they normally end with a single TPO. Single TPO. That's excess, right? Here, what this means here, this poor low, means that it should be repaired in the future. Repaired just means it's going to break it, because this is considered poor structure. Think about a weak foundation in a house. Okay, this usually gets repaired in the future. That doesn't mean it has to get repaired right away. I just want to point that out. Now this is a little, I wouldn't call it advanced, but it's a little more nuanced in market profiles. Why I like seeing that. Okay, I had to point that out because it's very apparent. All right, let's go back here. There's the high. We got our poor low. Okay, we got our overnight high, and this is no surprise to me of where we're at. Okay, so look, inside. We're inside Friday session. Does that tell us a lot? No. That means balance. That means indecision. That means there's not a big edge there. However, if you've been watching me, and I don't know if when, or maybe Rosita is still there, if you could tell me what I'm seeing next. There's two things I'm seeing. I don't know who's going to be able to nail it. And then, like I said, it might just be me and Rosita today because people didn't see my alert yet. I know even Rosita told me to do, I was busy this weekend. She told me to do a little reminder thing. I didn't do that. Might be the reason that not many people are watching this, but that's okay. But I'm going to give you the answer if Rosita can't give it to me, because I'm assuming this entrepreneur is too busy and she's just listening. So, two things I see here. Okay, number one, what am I going to talk about? We opened we opened here in the overnight, and what do I see? 100% net long inventory. So the overnight has just drove up. Everybody's long. Okay. Now, second part of that is we have a weak low here. Now, my name in my game is always confluence. Name in the game is always confluence. Okay, so overnight low. Most traded price of Fridays right here. 100% net long. Okay. So, if the market comes back down here, okay, and this is the psychology on it. You know everyone's long from here, and they haven't been hurt. So you got long from here, you haven't been hurt. Okay? Good job, Chief. So everybody's long from Friday's low. Okay? Now, we have everybody long from the overnight low. Went all the way up here. But the most trades was put right here on Friday, right? So if we come back down and break this, we have that poor low down here that we could break, and we could revisit that 42.90 and get ready for CPI. But we have to break 43.03 in futures. That is something I'm watching today. Okay, there is a big demand zone here. So oh my boy, there he is. All right. So that's the week low. That's what I'm looking at. I'd be loving to the price went higher here. Drop some more longs. Okay. So that's really kind of what I'm seeing. We can get right into the plan here. All right. So right now, am I interested in any straight out long up there? No, I'm not. So I'm looking at the more of the short side. Okay. All right. So what can we look at here? What I'm really going to look at, because I'm not expecting huge anything, but you never know. Okay, you do never know. So if I'm looking at a bias for the short, okay, what I'm really only looking at is what I just showed you guys. I mean, yes, could we go up here, lose steam? Yes. Get some lower highs and revisit this area that I just talked about? Yep. So that I don't know, this could be a possible short as well up here, but I don't have any type of level that I want to lean on here. Okay, but that could be. Okay, but what I'm really looking at is if the market comes down here, how does it react with this weak low? My guess is it would clean out these longs, and we're gonna at least go into this demand zone, break that poor low, and land right here. And I think we do a lot of games here. I mean, it would kind of shock me if we just kind of broke it. I would think we're probably going to more balance out here. Right? Now, we talked about those balance rules. And I don't know. We've gotten surprised before. So, in the balance rules, if we did go up and we start to come down, remember, everyone's long from down here. So, just how it works is that if you're long down here and you're up here and you see weakness, you're going to start taking profit. And it's going to just, it causes almost like a snowball rolling down a hill. And then we could all the way down to the bottom of the balance, even hit this demand and pop back up, and then wait for tomorrow. Now, as far as the long side for today, I mean, like I said, could come up here, could come back down here, hit this 42.90, and could you get a little pop, maybe back up to here? Maybe. I just don't really like it. Not a big fan of it. The only other thing is you have balance rules. Go to the other side, end of the balance. Can you probably, if you can't go lower, get some lower highs? Possibly, the market could move right back up to that monster level of 42.90. Okay, possibly. But I like the more of the short today. Okay, I have to talk about it because it's there. Now the other thing too is what could happen is the market could come down to this weak low, and if it gets support here, and I don't like this trade too much because it's just overextended, but we could do this and come back down and then just balance for tomorrow. Right? That's also a possibility. But I like the pain trade. I like everyone long from here, wait for tomorrow. They take their profits, and you get what I'm saying. Okay, so let's move on to the Nasdaq. Okay, very quickly, we have, I'm not a big pattern guy, but there is an easy pattern that everybody should be able to see here. You got a neckline here. It's inverse head and shoulders. We got a shoulder. We got a shoulder. We have the head. Okay, that's if If you're looking for an all-out bullish pattern, this is the one for you. Do I like it yet? No, because the information didn't come out yet. But a CPI, gets really soft, you could see the breakout to further up here. Okay. All right, now let's look at this. Okay. We know we're not as nice a balance as the ES, but we're pretty much in balance. Okay. You have the most traded price of the week and the month right here. Big time balance. Anytime you have that, what's that level? 145.90. Okay, 145.90 is your level. Is the level of all levels right now. Right here. And we're right above it. Okay? We're right above it. And okay, so let's look at where we're at. Friday's high, Friday's low. Again, this isn't the best read. And I don't like this at all that you're right around this. However, whenever you're in this around this area, if you're in it, you look for the inside out trade. You're probably going to go here or you're going to go here. Okay. However, we got the high, the low, the overnight high, the overnight low. We're in the middle. A Friday session doesn't tell us a lot. The Nasdaq's not tipping its hand, showing us much. Okay, we do have a similar setup that I just talked about. Okay, we do have it. And what is that, right? We are pretty much 100% net long in the Nasdaq. That's the only short activity is here and here. Everything else is long. So we're pretty much 100% net long. Okay, what do we have? Most traded price of Friday, right there. At the overnight lows, also settlement in the close. So, this is the trade. This is what I'd be looking at. Okay, this is what I'd be looking at. Why? You got longs here, longs here, longs here, longs here. Haven't been hurt. Longs here. Okay. Now, you do have more of a setup in the Nasdaq to short the top. Okay. So we have our weak low. Okay, we do have supply, overhead supply too. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into that. All right. So let's see a likely scenario for today. Which this would be very tasty. Okay. Because this is what you want to see possibly the market could come down to, right? But what is the Nasdaq giving us? 100% net long. We can move up into this supply, even come to the top of it. You make some higher lows. Well, market could break down to this monster level, right? And then the market has a decision to make. Does it do this or does it break? If it breaks with some volume and pace, you're going to break this week low. We should flush down to Friday's lows in the monthly VWAP, which is right here. Okay, right into this demand zone. That could be the end of it. And then we could pop imbalance, right? Well, or it could just cause a big shock. Like I said, there's that big data coming up, so I'm not expecting a big move, but you never know, right? And you could possibly go back all the way down here. I don't know. I'm not calling for that. I'm just saying this is possibilities, but that is a nice setup. Okay? I mean, every low. There has been higher low, higher low, higher low. There has not been a low taken out. So, you got to go where the pain is going to be. Okay? Pretty big level of resistance up here. Okay? Like I said about that inverse head and shoulders pattern. Alright? Am I crazy about a long today? Not really. But you have to talk about it. We'll talk about it. Right? Now we're up here. One thing that could be strong for the bulls if come down here and we hold these monster level, right? You hold it, hold it, hold it. Go up here to this big resistance level here. And do we break out today? I don't say it's probabilities high, but we could. We could, right? Also, could like I said, we can also come down here, just like I said, break this level, break that weak low, come into this demand, and what I would think could happen is, if you wanted to get long there, the market could just balance in here, wait for tomorrow. Okay, and that's what I'm seeing. All right, so I'm a little more edging towards the shorts because the longs they're overextended a little bit. It doesn't mean you can't go higher. It just means that I'd rather lean a little more biased to the short side for the higher probability of trade. Okay. And I'm going into more time than I wanted to, but it's my first day back, so maybe we can look at one thing here. Look at the hourly charts. Give me 1 second. Just really quickly. I won't spend too much time on it. Alright, so what I just have here, this is the ES hourly chart. We have a nice trend line. Okay. It's a very powerful trend line right now. That's been support, support, support a bunch of times, right? So if we crack that, I'm going to pay attention to that. And what's there if we crack it? Oh, the weak low that I just talked about, right? There's that weak low. So they all work together. They all work together. That's the confluence I talk about. That's what I want to see. What else do we have? I drew a fib, right? From here, this swing to this high, right? Where does that go? 50% Fibonacci's 42.94. And what does that line up with? The most traded price of the month and the week. That's why that's so key. You break that, we could go down to this other end of balance, right? Just wanted to show you guys. Point that out in candlesticks, easy. A good way to, sometimes to see it in a different way. NASDAQ. Obviously, he's been stronger, right? But the NASDAQ's got these two big levels, boy. You talk about big levels. 142.57. Look at that support. Woo. Then you got that big resistance, 146.75. That's been some resistance, boy. That's the playground. Right there. Right? Now, what do we have? We have a trend line right here. Boop. Been supportive, right? Well, what happens if we break this trend line? Ooh, what do? We break the most traded price of the week and the month. Boom. Then we have another test here. Can we go back down to the other side of balance? We have to see. Okay, now I have a fib all the way from here to this high, right? You can see that the 38.2 fib has been support. So, very key level. Okay, I just wanted to point those out. Just wanted to point those out. All right. The last thing I'll lead you guys with before I go and set up some of what I might possibly be doing today, I just wanted to go over sectors just to show us the breadth of the market. Okay. And really quickly, all I'm going to look at really is the weeklies in sectors in monster levels, okay, that I think are very, very important in this market. Okay, so pay attention to this one. We're going to start with semis. All right. Now, put these levels down, mark them down. They're very important. All right. 143.8 support. That is a weekly support. Okay. That needs to hold for these semis, which with the AI, you know, I have an alert here. So, this could be a pullback to get a buy. Okay. Or if it breaks, we could fall possibly to 131. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So 143.8. Technology, the biggest part of the S&P. Okay, look at this resistance. 167, call it 168. You hit it last week. We hit it. We hit it a couple weeks ago. Last week, that's the highs. Where's the support? 163. Sorry. Apologize for that. Let's go back. Semis. Here's that 143 support. Sorry about that. That's my rustiness. It got me. So here's that 143 support, 143.8. There's weekly support. Okay. I would be looking at some type of pullback here if we're going to get more strength in the semis. But if you break it, you don't have a lot holding it here. You could drop all the way back to 131. Also could be a nice buying opportunity. So that's the semis, right? Technology, 27% of the market. Look at where it topped out, 168. Double top here. Look at the bottom, 163.65. These two areas are very, very important. You break 163, I have alerts set up here and here. Okay, we break this. This is probably going to cause a correction in the market. Okay, and Nasdaq's very overbought, but I don't. I'm just saying that's a statement that is true. I'm not saying to you short it because it's overbought. I'm just saying it's a statement. Okay. Okay. Also notice the 10-week EMA that I always notice. 10-week EMA, very important to me. That's a good barometer. Okay. Now let's just go look at as far as the 10-week EMA. Look at discretionary, right? Look at that 10-week EMA. That's amazing. Look at those wicks, right? I'm telling you, put it on your chart. All right. So we got discretionary way over the 10-week EMA. Communications way over the 10-week, also over the 200-day on the weekly. Okay. Now notice everything's strong, right? Financials, this was weak. This is what I was talking about. The breath is catching up, which could send the market higher if these weak sectors start getting strength. Now you notice, look, financials closed 2 weeks ago above the 10-week EMA, and then look at what they did last week. Broke it, closed strong. 33 is a key level in financials. Look at this. Look at these candles here. If it gets some legs here, look at this candle here. Okay? That's why I'm showing you guys these levels are just very important. Okay, here's one that's weak. Staples, no surprise, right? That's defensive. But you got a double bottom here at 72. 72, double bottom. What are we talking? Procter & Gamble, Costco, okay? PepsiCo. This is the rotation. Just keep this in mind. This has been weak. This is defensive. Okay, this could be, if tech falls, we could rotate into staples, which would be normal. Just look at this level, 72.31. Notice, under the 10-week EMA. Financials. Over the 10-week EMA, right? Basic materials. This was weak. Look at it now. It closed right above the 10-week EMA. Okay? Utilities. Still weak. It hit the 10-week EMA last week. Right there, the wick came right to it. Okay? But this is defensive, right? If we get a recession, we're going to flow back into here. Look at real estate. It was weak. Look at all these weeks under the 10-week. Now it's above it. Healthcare is another one, right? Healthcare came above it, went way down, and look, it's still a little weak. But think about the weak sectors and think about the flows, the inflows and the outflows of the market. If this is weak and it's defensive, those are the types of stocks you want to probably get into, right? So think about that. The weak stocks are the defensive. It makes sense, right? But what's going to flow out, go inflow? We're going to outflow tech and go into these types of sectors, okay? Industrials making a move. It broke out of this big level, 101.11. Look at that. Look at that level. We broke it last week. And look, it's pretty much all-time highs is at 103. Pretty interesting, right? And then last year's darling is this week's laggard. But energy got some good buying here. And you got the 10-week EMA. It closed right at it. So that 10-week EMA, put it on your chart. I'm telling you, it's a good barometer. But could this be when people want to start putting a little money into energy? I don't know. But you see the weakness. And I think those will be the strengths if we do go into recession. So, but you can see these were very weak when the Nasdaq was charging. Now you're getting some strength. So if the overall breadth of the market moves higher, this could push us higher. I don't know how high, but I'm just keeping that in mind. Okay, keep that in mind. I just wanted to show you guys those levels. All right. Glad to be back. I hope everybody enjoyed today. Hope you took something from what I'm saying. And so I'm back. Sorry about that little mishap that you guys didn't see my charts, but I know you see it at the end now. So of course, subscribe, set alerts, right? That would be great. Give me a like. Be much appreciated. And of course, you got my Twitter and my Instagram. Okay, so this week's quad witching on Friday. So I expect a big change in the market after Friday. Usually some type of move happens on a Monday or Tuesday after OPEX, but this week's quad witching. So a lot of contracts rolling over this week. All right. So wish everybody good luck today. Stay green. Um, Stay green. And since now I have a job that I go to at noon, I'll try to do some little updates if I can. Just understand I'll be a little limited in that role, but I'll try to do them. If I see something obviously sticks out to me, I'll try to make a small video. But welcome back, everybody. Thanks for coming back, and let's make some money today, okay? And if you guys don't hear from me, I'll see you guys tomorrow.